President Obama deployed U.S. advisors and military troops to Iraq just over a year ago to help train Iraqi soldiers in their fight against ISIS. Joining me with an update on that front and the latest on women in combat is Lieutenant General David Berger, commander of Camp Pendleton's 1 Marine Expeditionary Force. And General Berger, what is the 1st Marine Expeditionary Force? What is their mission in Iraq?
In Iraq, we're there to advise and to train the Iraqi Army forces that are, most of them in Anbar province. That's where our focus is, which is in western Iraq.
So what are some of their key accomplishments in the past year that they've been there?
I'd agree with, I think, our military leaders that the U.S. and coalition forces stopped the offensive, stopped the spread of ISIL across Iraq. And now they're training the Iraqi army units there in western Iraq, and also advising the senior leaders on how to tactically employ the forces.
Well, despite dozens of U.S. airstrikes, ISIS does continue to advance in the region. How would you compare ISIS strength today to that of what it was a year ago?
I think probably fair. You could ask the opposite question. In other words, what if we weren't there at all? Where would ISIL be? I think right now the flow of Iraqi forces into north and western Iraq and the strengthening of them that we've given them is all the positives. The hard part for Iraq right now is, while they're fighting a fight, to be able to retrain and reorganize their military forces, doing it at the same time. That's a really difficult task.
Do you think they're capable of actually defeating ISIS in the region?
That's a kind of strategic question that probably I'm not qualified to answer. I mean, the best we can do is train them, make sure they're equipped properly and organized right, and tactically that they have the sound decision makers at the top.
And at this point, can you tell us anything about how long the tactical training will continue in Iraq?
It goes on and as far into the future as we can see right now. That'll be up to the administration to decide. We're planning long term.
Let's talk closer to home here. Camp Pendleton actually wrapped up a year-long training experiment for women in combat. What do we know about that study? What can you tell us so far?
All the collection of information from that year-long study is done. It's a very deliberate manner. The Marine Corps partnered with Penn State and a couple of other organizations that are very good at collecting information and doing a kind of the objective analysis. So all the different runs in the experiments are done. Right now they're analyzing the information that we collected, and they'll formulate some thoughts for the Commandant to use in his recommendation to the Secretary of Defense sometime this fall.
And is this kind of a first for women in combat? Because there were military women personnel in Afghanistan and Iraq.
There were. And obviously did great things in combat. What we needed to find this time was, though, in terms of readiness and capabilities-wise, the physical differences between men and women and the tasks that we have to do. What do we need to learn about that so that we can understand better if opening up the specialties and also the types of units where women are assigned, what makes the most sense without jeopardizing our combat readiness, our effectiveness?
And I know it's still the study just finished, but are there any particular combat roles that were being targeted as far as that might be particularly suited for women in combat?
Yeah, the focus for this was what we call ground combat element forces, which are infantry, artillery, tanks, those kind of forces that are on the ground in close contact with the enemy. So that was the focus of this experiment.
All right, Lieutenant General David Berger, thank you so much for the update.
Thank you.